In the previous video, we looked at the two parts of our nervous system and also highlighted a need for us to be able to activate our parasympathetic nervous system. And this is done through learning how to breathe slow and deep. Now, why deep? To understand this, we need to look at our lungs. Now, the lungs are made up of different parts or lobes, and it's in the lower portion of our lungs that contain up to 50% of the parasympathetic receptors. So that means when we're breathing in deep into our lungs, it's activating this relaxation response. But how do we breathe deep into our lungs? Well, it all starts with the nose. Now, the nose has many different functions, but perhaps one of the most incredible functions is that it contains a gas called nitric oxide. And in 1998, a team of scientists won the Nobel Prize for understanding the function of this gas. When we breathe in through our nose, this gas is taken into our bloodstream and acts like very similar to carbon dioxide, that it dilates the arteries and the veins and helps with taking oxygen to the cells, which we'd already spoken about. So that's a very important thing to understand. But when we're talking about breathing deep, it actually has another function as well. Because the nose has a smaller inlet, the pressure that's created breathing in through our nose creates a vacuum which takes the air deeper into our lungs. Also, breathing through the nose helps to activate the diaphragm. Now, the diaphragm is key in understanding how to breathe correctly. The diaphragm is a muscle that sits below the lungs and goes the complete circumference around the body. When the diaphragm is activated correctly, it will draw down when you're breathing in and help to draw that air deep into the lungs. When you exhale, the diaphragm pushes up and pushes the air out of your lungs. Now, there's one telltale sign as if you are breathing using your diaphragm, and that's your belly. If you breathe in and your belly comes out, that shows that you're activating your diaphragm muscle. If this is not happening and your chest is moving or your shoulders is moving, it shows that you are not activating this diaphragm muscle and you are not taking in the air into the deepest part of the lungs. So how do we learn how to activate this muscle? Well, it starts by laying down. By laying down and finding a comfortable position, grab something soft and light that you can place on your belly button. And I just want you to focus on that object and breathe in, trying to make that object rise as you breathe in and relax and just fall as you breathe out. Just trying that for a count of 10 breaths. I want you now to start to focus on the response to the body, the psychological response. How do you feel when you're activating this diaphragm muscle? You should feel relaxed. You should feel heavy. Now, this is a sign of the activation of the parasympathetic nervous system and the relaxation response. Now, it's very easy to activate the diaphragm when we're laying down, because if we didn't, we would never fall asleep. But the problem comes when people come into a seated or standing position where the activation of the diaphragm becomes a lot harder. So join us for the next video when we look at some postural alignment that's going to help with breathing deeply in a standing or seated position. I look forward to seeing you next time.